Welcome back to Relaxing Woodford. Today is the first cut of the season, and we are going to be using our bush hog, and we are going to be cutting this field. In the off season, we went ahead and changed over the solenoid. So for those of you who have loved me using a screwdriver, I don't have to anymore. Open up our gas. Check out that bing bong. I had to add a new cable here. Then we just turn on our key. Open everything up. Before I start the engine, let's see, how are we doing back here on level? I feel like it's good and high in the front. I'm gonna ride it a little bit higher than that probably in the field for safety and mitigation of injury of wildlife. I've already walked the field. If you didn't see the section of me talking about safety tips for bush hogging, field mowing, check that out. It's pretty specific to zone 7B, which is where I am, but guess what? It can also apply to you. So here we are. Tell me, how do you like these angles? First, let's check this out. Foot on the clutch. Bad boys in neutral. Push to start. Start going, hop off. The safety thing I want to make sure of first. Just making sure there's no friends under there. Sometimes animals, when I'm not mowing, like to go hang out in there. And that means that in a moment when I turn on the blades, if you have pink mist, and I do not want that. All right, baby. So, low and slow, all the way over, all the way up. That's first gear, baby. Then what we're gonna do, turn on our PTO and push that back to engage. If it is engaged, come to this side. We're gonna come a little high. See it lift up. Go to neutral again. All right, we got some lift there. I have it here. Now, before I get going, what we're gonna do today is we're only gonna do half of the field. We're gonna do half the field. We're gonna leave some refuge strips. I'm just gonna leave one in between this side and that side. And I'm gonna knock the middle out to the middle opening that's already there. You see that over there? So this will all be gone. And then this will be gone pretty much except for refuge probably right in there. Into first gear. First gear's initiated. Still check around for safety. I see no children. Pig is in the pen. Donkey's over there. Let's get it. First cut. scare anything, it gets moved out and not run over on our next pass. rabbit. Even after I walk the field. Today's a very warm day for March in Virginia. It's 80 degrees. So there's a lot of things where animals that aren't usually out yet are out of hibernation or they're having a false wake up. surprise for me just now to see a rabbit. But luckily I follow the safety rules. I'm going from the middle outward. So hopefully that'll be okay. But I think the biggest thing is, like, I understand that there's no possible way for me to 100% absolutely remove any possibility of accidents with wildlife because I am cutting a field. Like, the way to absolutely avoid all of it is to not cut a field. I know that. But there are a lot of things I can do to mitigate it. Just like with woodworking, my friend taught me you can't really do anything to ensure there's never tear out in wood. But you can do a lot of things to mitigate tear out. And so for me, by learning from you guys that are watching and from researching, learning how to become a better steward of this field and my property, my goal is to mitigate unnecessary death and injury. But I know that there's always a possibility. I'm cutting it really high. No, it doesn't look like it, but it's above. I mean, it's way taller than my front tires. There's also a lot of packed down grass, kind of like overlapping. Tell you this, the most common wildlife accidents I've had on my property. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to guess. So I live in Virginia. We've got a lot of different kinds of wildlife here. I'll give you a few minutes to guess what the most common wildlife accident has been when it came to mowing. So whatever you guess is possibly wrong. The most common occurrence is turtles. I have probably had on 5 different occasions in the field that's beyond that yard over there, which is just lush and green. It used to be a former owner's garden. Turtles just get underneath of the really thick grass. I guess they just bed down in there because the moisture content's so high. And yeah, it's very sad. Very sad. The girls are out playing on their swing. My youngest turns 9 years old tomorrow. Sorry, my oldest turns 9 years old. tell me, do you like when the camera angle is more pointed directly forward? You see more sky and more of what's happening. Do you like it when it's lower? And you can see more of what the tractor's doing. But my personal favorite is both. Look at that. What do you think? Finish this section that I'm cutting next to. But I believe I've cut wide enough here for me to now have my buffer strip. And so I'm going to do that and leave about this much here. especially thick green grasses. There's also other things like if you like snow plowing, like gravel driveway dragging. Really, this channel just exists because I had some friends encouraged me quite a few times to make a YouTube channel with Tilly, my 1948 Ford 8N, and I kept telling them, I was like, who is going to watch this? Why would someone watch me do this? And they were like, well, do you watch stuff like that? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I watch stuff all the time like that. They're like, that's exactly why other people watch you. All right? So my thought behind it and the business model, I guess, behind the channel is, well, I have to do it anyways. Why not bring you with me? I've got to tend to the land and do these chores. It's not that much more effort, just click and record. And then editing it, putting it up. There is also a cheat code where, as a professional, I am a creative. Specifically now, my day job, my title is creative director. So these things and YouTube for me are daily activities anyways. So just added another task to the list of what channel I was doing it for. So, but if you are joining for the first time, thank you for being here. And if you've been here before, you're the reason I kept doing it. Your comments, suggestions, your criticisms, your love, your memories. That's why I keep doing it. So if you like it, let me know, because it fuels me to keep making it for you. Out there, what kind of boots do you like? I know that's always a really interesting question, but what kind of boots are on your feet when you're working? I've watched my dad go through a couple series of iterations. He might shoot me if I get this wrong, but I know he's been through the Rocky season before. He's been through the Red Wings. I think at work now he wears Georgia boot. And I think that for hunting, he wears Irish setters. But what about you? Personally, I wear Blundstones for like everything. Indoor, outdoor, if I'm at a computer, or if I'm riding, I have Blundstones. I used to wear bogs. They kept dry rotting and cracking on me, and I hated that. But I do have some really, really nice knee-high bogs. I like those ones. But what are you wearing? These Blundstones treat me really good. The first pair of boots I've had for 3 years. And I mean, I'm not hard on them. Like I told you earlier, I'm a creative director. So, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., I'm not doing anything serious. But doing this stuff, I wear the same exact pair of shoes. Splitting logs and, moving stuff and being dumb. But yeah, what kind of boots do you prefer? delicious. They smell delicious, but they are taking over this field. grass areas where I would do finish mowing. That happened because of a funny story I can tell you. I love my dad a whole lot. My dad is a very smart man. My dad is a mechanic, a very good mechanic. But some things don't cross from mechanics to farming. That's perfectly fine. I knew nothing when I moved into this house, and I continue to believe and understand that I still know nothing. Just gain things here and there, but I have a finish mower. It's an awesome one. It's a Ford 930B, Ford New Holland 930B. 72-inch wide, 3 blades. And when it works, boy, it works really, really good. But had a problem with it having issues with pulleys. Just pulleys kept busting and having issues. And so I was going through a hard financial time, as most of us do in life. And my dad was like, hey, I found those spindles online, the Agro Supply. I'm just gonna buy them for you. And I was like, man, thanks. Let me know how much I owe you. I was like, oh, don't worry about it. So they show up, I take the current ones off, I put them on, get them all fastened, get them all locked down. And I couldn't tell if I had the wrong bolt size or what I was doing wrong, but every time I cut with them, blades would fall out. So then that created a whole other problem. Well, I had to find the blade because I was trying to cut the grass because the grass is too high. I had to find the bolt, had to find the washer. So every single time I'd cut, I'd get a little bit done, I'd lose a blade, then I'd be cutting with two. With two instead of with 3. Sometimes it'd be the outside 2. Sometimes it would be just the left 2. Sometimes it'd be the right 2. And I was just mismatching and having problems. So we thought about doing Loctite. You know, thought maybe it was the wrong thread size. Well, you know, we chased everything down. Then come to find out, I asked a buddy to come over and look at it. We did not buy reverse thread. And so for that model, the spindle threading itself, the bolt you put in, is supposed to be reverse threaded, and so the female threading is supposed to be reverse. And so what happened, because it was correct, just normal directional thread, you know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, when I would turn on the mower, it would unscrew the bolts every time. So that's why an impact didn't work. That's why Loctite didn't work. Nothing worked. I had the wrong spindles. So, cautionary tale for you. If you're having to buy spindles, make sure you buy the right ones. I didn't realize that with slow intentionality, you can actually make a field look really good with a bush hog. All right, so we got that section done. Now we can pay attention just to this section over here. This side doesn't really even technically need to be cut, but do everything just to be nice and level. So I don't know if you can tell, this is pretty low over here compared to the middle section. against the lines that were here from the last cut. But luckily, the kinds of tires I have on there, I don't know if you can tell, there's a center ridge on them that's like protrudes up. And it allows me, when I'm driving, to put an indentation that's a little bit bolder in the places that I've already been. Very helpful. noticed, because I don't have a covering right now for Tilly other than like a nylon like stretch over cover, is that like she is really, really dry. This year I'm planning on doing a paint job on Tilly, but I wanted to know from you guys, from your experience, fluid film, is that something that I could put maybe on like, you know, even like the areas down there, or like the frame, or I want something that's a protective coating. I know, like, for example, I've said in recent or past videos, like WD-40 was created to protect missiles when they're in storage from, you know, water displacement, or trying, you know, from moisture. Like, I'm just wondering if I put fluid film on parts of Tilly, like, would that be safer? I know that like greasing regularly is important, and so like I've got grease gun for all the joints and all the nipples. But if you have any suggestions, this Tilly's a 1948. There's some things that I'm gonna, you know, I need to redo, like these seals. I need to put new seals on the headers. But I don't know. I really want her to last forever. She's already lasted forever. But if there's any way that I can, you know, be intentional on extending the life even further, you know, please let me know. Something that I'm really passionate about is keeping Tilly alive. So between myself doing what I can do with your help, and my friend Jeff, who's Tilly's personal mechanic, I would like to extend the life of Tilly as long as possible. And if you have any questions about Tilly, or about operation or care with the 4.8N, or, you know, custom things that have been done to Tilly to keep her happy and thriving, let me know. This channel exists for you. My girls don't care about it yet. Someday maybe they will when Tilly's their own. But yeah, let me know if you have questions. We got this strip and two more. This is usually the strip where I see voles, so let's see. Around this area. There's a lot of lush green underneath this top layer. I'll tell you right now, the fall cut's going to be wild. Absolutely wild. As of cutting this video, I think I've got like 780 subscribers, and I never thought I'd have one. So my goal is to be at 1,000 before the summertime, because I don't know if you guys know, but if I get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in a year, I can become monetized, which means that effectively you guys watching Tilly can help me pay for like gas for Tilly and all that stuff. Getting her a new seat, you know, repainting her. And like, I don't need you guys to give me any money. That's from advertising. So like the ad that plays before the video like pays for that. And two, like, money like that helps pay for gas. My desire would be to help my neighbors around me who are elderly, you know, like cut their fields and stuff like that with that gas. buying a GoPro. Right now, this camera you're looking at is my cell phone. It'd be pretty sweet to have a GoPro instead. Because if I had a GoPro instead, I could even do live streaming with cutting grass, which just sounds funny, but people love that. I'd still do all this like the same way. Just also do the live stream. Second to last cut. So, cool pro tip for you that I found is when you're on an 8N and you want to turn the blade off, first what you want to do is you want to drop your RPMs, like drastically, and then slowly let off the clutch, and that way it just slowly slows it down. All right, first half of the field's done. So we followed some safety tips. We started from the middle of the field and worked our way outward. We left a refuge strip, which is that strip of grass in the middle. That way, if I was scaring animals from either way that I was cutting, they could go into the middle and be safe. We went low and slow, meaning we did first gear and low RPMs. High enough to cut the grass that I was cutting, but low enough to just be nice and chill. And we went slow. We kept safety as a priority. So that section of the field's done. This section's next, so we'll tackle that in a bit. First, we're going into the field with this bad boy. Give it some speed. Third gear, baby. Here. And we're gonna go that way. And we're gonna turn our attention to this field over here. Still got the shooting range up. Hoping to take that down, but friends keep finding good uses for it. All right, here we go.
first pass on this side when I came and I looped back, I decided that the part on my right would be the furthest
Gotta admit, sometimes on days like this, it's hard for me to obey the rules of low and slow. Whereas I love doing this, that's what I need. I need like a cup holder on here for my coffee mug. Man, that would be sick. I love coffee. I really do. With a vengeance. I do not want them. This video you're watching was recorded on 2 separate days, but I've realized that it's better to put them all together in one and share as a whole. But that first day I was cutting, man, it felt like summer. It was so nice. It does not feel like that today. Good old Virginia. Got some severe temperature swings apparently. Alright, how tight can we go on this? Pushing down on my right side brake. There we go. I got it. So if you don't know, down here on the floor, there's actually 2 pedals. So you got my right pedal and my left pedal. Those are independent brake controls for the 4-8N. If I push the left brake on my right foot, it will brake the left tire. And same with the right. So what you can end up doing on days when your brakes are tuned properly, you can actually do a lot of nimble maneuvers and make your work a little bit more effective by cutting down your turn radius. And as you've probably seen and demonstrated, the turn radius on Tilly quite wide. If you're watching this channel and you're someone who also has fields in 10-4, what do you go with? What's your tractor or machine of choice? And then what do you pull behind? Or how wide's your deck? This is not a measuring contest, I swear. I'm just interested. If you're watching me, what do you use? Good native grasses coming up in here. And we're not cutting low. We're probably 8 inches above surface. So we're just killing this really high stuff, which lets things underneath begin to thrive. That's the goal. low and slow as far as first gear and lower RPMs. Really, in my opinion, it's got thicker stuff. Not putting as much tax on the machine. Right now, I'm just weed whacking with a bush hog. So, try second gear.
targets up there. Some 3 deep row of railroad ties. Pretty effective as well. yards, I might need a second refuge strip. I might need that one right there, and I might need one this way a little bit. See how thick this grass is? There could be all kinds of stuff. Alright, let's see. a YouTube channel. Speaking of YouTube channels, if you haven't yet, my buddy, if you haven't checked it out yet, my buddy Tim Eggers has a YouTube channel called High Wheel Woodwork with Tim Eggers. It's pretty great. If you ever wanted to learn woodworking or want someone that you can trust who's not trying to show you products, it's a great channel to subscribe to. If some of you are only here because Tim told you to come here. So thank you, Tim. Also on my channel, I've been doing shorts. So if you found my channel shorts, I think so far in the month of March 2026, March 17th today, there's like 85 people who subscribed to the channel this month through shorts. So welcome. I hope you're enjoying the long content as well. Alright, let's go down here a little bit. If I put some chains on there, that'll help. Like they put on like the forestry attachments. Cutting, I'm not going to be wearing a long sleeve Carhartt coat, that's for sure. So I'm cutting now, and then I'll cut in August. Now you might see some other videos I put out of me cutting, but in real life I won't be cutting. What's crazy with his YouTube content is this is a very seasonal role, right? But I got 12 months to fill with content. So I'm learning how to, wheel and deal that content to make it stretch. Maybe this year I'll find out how to make satisfying content with a zero turn, which I would imagine is very hard, but we'll see. Maybe some distant recording and not POV recording. That was funny. Last year, I tried to do some POV recording with my zero turn, and my wife was like, "No, that just kind of feels like you're driving a go-kart really fast. It's not really satisfying." I totally understand. But we'll learn how together to continue to make fun things in the off season. I wasted that pass without cutting. Not very fuel efficient, sir. First time my neighbor Johnny cut this field for me, I think it was about 6 or 7 hours of him cutting across a couple days, like 3-hour stretches, and then let his tractor rest. I had a creative idea, by the way, and I don't know if you would like it. I like it, so I might just do it because I like it. I was thinking about asking my neighbors if they'd be willing to let me come by and do a video of them with their tractor. Not like this, but like an interview, maybe kind of deal, do a tour, talk about why they love it, what are some modifications they've done to it, how they've kept it alive, how they bought it. Let them just share stories about the tractor or honestly wherever they go. I think it'd be sick. Because the only reason I have this tractor is because my neighbor Mike that lives next door, I saw him taking care of his property with a 1949 Ford 8N, and I was like, well, my lawnmower is not doing it for the property, and I have no idea what to buy. So I hit up Mike, and I was like, hey, what should I buy? He's like, oh, buddy, why don't you just come by and see if you like this thing? I was like, all right, so I went over there. He let me drive it around. I had already found one on Craigslist for sale. And I was like, I just need to know if it's too much for me or, what. And I went over and got on his and he let me drive it. And I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I went and bought it the next day. About Tilly on Craigslist. I think she was $1,900, $1,900 US dollars. Came with a 6-inch back blade. And then a crazy story about the bush hog I'm cutting with. It conveyed with the property. And now if you've never bought property, excuse me, or you're young, what that means is when I bought my property, there was this bush hog and a tractor that came with my property. Now, the tractor that came with my property, unfortunately, the lock was cracked. We tried to salvage it, and there was just no way. That was a 1952 Alice Chalmers V2. And this bush hog that's on Tilly right now has actually taken care of this property, cut on this property since at least the early 1970s. cool, in my opinion. So the previous owner of the property, he used to take care of this land with the same exact bush hog that I use today in 2026. And you see stories like that, and for you who just listened to this and, I don't know, for whatever reason, thought it was a good story, that's why I want to tell stories of people with their tractors. And also, too, like, why not just have some good times and tell an American folk stories? Pretty cool, right? And who knows, maybe it'll be tractor stories and farm stories, all from right here in the comfort of Woodford, Virginia. Second gear to third gear on this field. It's honestly too cold and too low of material for me to take it in first gear. But it's looking very good. I'm very pleased with it. I can't do that at that end, so I'll have to go over that way. Be on the other side of the refuge strip. As this video gets posted, I hope that you had a very good Lenten season. Or if you are watching, I think the phrase is Eid Mubarak. If you are watching and you celebrate Ramadan, for the first time in 160 years, we had Ramadan, Lent, and the Chinese New Year all line up at once. And the Passover. That's crazy. So if you're wondering, like, why people are acting crazy, that's a pretty good reason, right? Everyone's hungry. They miss their alcohol. They miss their hanging out. So crops coming in good over here. I guess it's winter wheat. That's my best guess. Definitely not soybeans or corn. And it's the winter, so. I should probably remove that barrier and leave this barrier. Or do both. We're gonna drop down real quick to third gear. Oh, sorry. Dummy. Second gear. I had a thought earlier as I drove by that and did the, fake gun noises. I bet it would be definitely illegal in some way to do target practice from the tractor. This is a motor vehicle. You know that, well, to my knowledge, in the state of Virginia, if you are handicapped and you have a hunting license, you actually have the ability to hunt from your vehicle. I don't know all the specifics, but I do remember that at one point in my childhood, well, maybe teenage years, there was a guy we hunted with, and he had the ability to do that legally. He said he did. That's the kicker, right? Alright, so I think I'm gonna cut 2 more on this. We got this strip over here, the part that we're finishing. It gets really thick with what I believe to be mimosa trees, autumn olives, and maybe privet. But I know those 3 species are pretty rampant on our property. I know for sure mimosas would go crazy over here. That's what these big ones are that are bare over there. Those are mimosas. They're gorgeous. We actually did family pictures in front of them past year. I love them, but I want them to stay there. They're very invasive. They just take over. not perfect shapes. So try to do maybe if I could cut this back portion off and make like an island, it might work pretty good. Let's see what we can do. It'll also allow me, I'll just turn sideways and cut it. It'll also allow me in the season where things are taller, not have so much of a blind spot back here. As you may have seen or recall, last year we were looking at about 7 or 8 feet of brush that grows throughout the year. We'll see. We'll see if this year is like last year. Last year there was no lack of moisture, which is what we want. We want thick, we want lush. If you ever hear me complaining about that, I've lost the plot. We have had many summers here without rain. That means I don't have water to take a shower. So that's no good. different things can look when you run it a different way. I'm gonna see, these are the bad thoughts in my head. Can I run it over? Can I run it over? Maybe. I did run it over. That was nice. Intrusive thoughts again. So, do this. Alright, so from previous videos, I don't know if you've seen it, but a really good way that I have found to cut that PTO off on the back really quickly is to just push in your clutch and drop your RPMs. I've now put it in reverse, and I'm going to back up. So let's see. Mr. GoPro, how are you? You're great. You're at 1%. So let's see, how does this work? this corner real quick. I see a cedar tree I don't need to let grow. Peeking its head out right here. But we'll see how it fares. That was a good day. Very effective cutting. Much you can say after a good day like that. I think that's today's cutting in this overall session with Tilly. As you can see, we have prepared our field for the summer. This way. Say that is good. So we have a refuge strip all the way out there. We have a refuge strip right here. We have a refuge strip behind the backstop of the fire of the gun range. I'm trying to be professional. And then there's a strip between the woods and a plot of a little strip of refuge strip of grass that is mowed. So yeah. Looks like we got it. So, I thank you for joining me today on Relaxing Woodford. Tilly thanks you. And I'd say that until next time, I hope that you take care. And I'll see you soon. Next video you'll see, if you go check out the channel, the one that's uploaded right after this, is gonna be like over 2.5 hours of foresting, which is pretty cool. I loved watching it. I'm not operating, but I am operating the camera, and then I have my GoPro, and I like put it close to the implement, all at the angles that OSHA would approve of. I was very safe. I was not in front of the implement. It's all good, nice and kosher. But yeah, you guys take care and enjoy the view.